All right, welcome. I'm going to do an audio test here first, but in today's video, we're going to be discussing this recent price action that we're seeing across the board with coins like Dogecoin and obviously Bitcoin as well. And are we on pace for pretty much a Dogecoin breakout or a market breakout, a rally in the crypto market? Because we're ultimately getting really close to breaking trend and starting a new trajectory here. So, and with this type of momentum, it is looking really good that we can actually break trend and pretty much have to do some new trajectories all over again as far as for where these coins are going to go over the next few months. So this is really an unexpected event, but nonetheless, for those of us who are holding, this is great for us in these positions. Let's see. Um, so with the numbers I gave, so as far as for if you're looking at like retracement, Fibonacci, or just pretty much a reset based off of the trend line here with the bridges that I've drawn, we're looking at roughly around 1835 for a Dogecoin trend reversal. And we're closing in on it. We're closing in on it very quickly. Bitcoin is roughly around $1,000 below its trend reversal, but we have to keep in mind that the media controls the price action in the short term, right? We know that today, pretty much it broke for SEC filing for Tesla that Elon at the end of 2021, he owned roughly around $2 billion in Bitcoin. Now, personally, I do believe this is playing a factor in a lot of people grabbing positions in a lot of these coins. And as you know, Bitcoin is obviously a market indicator. Rising tides raise all boats. So when people come in and they try and say, okay, well, if they're that aggressive in this holding, their holdings, maybe I should take a position as well. And it's just pretty much starts like this bullish trend. FOMO starts kicking in, and it's kind of hard to say where that will actually fizzle out. So the major catalyst as far as for what sent the market in a downward trajectory, as far as like the Fed and the interest rates, all this kind of stuff like that, those factors have not changed. But again, in the short term, you have different mediums that can be used to measure the growth or the explosiveness in these cryptos. And the fact of the matter is, we can potentially have FOMO set in with this type of price action based off of the holdings of some of these larger companies. So this can actually cause a lot of these cryptos to break trend, and we're pretty much going to have to start the charting process over again for what we're going to project here over the next month or so. I mentioned this in the community section. He's like, yeah, this is great for Dogecoin. This is bullish. I was like, yeah, this is definitely great for Dogecoin. It's great for Bitcoin. It's great for most of the cryptos that you're holding. But as far as for charting and trajectories that we have going forward here, this is it can pretty much make the charts that we've drawn over the last few weeks in the short term pretty much useless. So I'm gonna take a few questions here. Let's see, do you know how much Elon's holding in Dogecoin? I don't. I got asked that in the community section. So the SEC filing that I believe is causing this bull run was for Tesla. So Tesla, the company, is holding around 2 billion in Bitcoin. So that's not Elon's personal holding or in Bitcoin and or in Dogecoin. And we probably are not going to get those numbers for his personal holdings. Tesla is a publicly traded company. So there is some entitlement to transparency as far as for what they're holding and stuff like that. So, but as far as for Elon's personal holdings, unless he decides to share them for whatever reason, we're probably not going to know. So we don't have any idea what how much Bitcoin he owns or Dogecoin or Ethereum, whatever. We don't have any idea right now. So we probably won't find out either. So just being honest with you. We'll take a look at the chart really quick. So when we're looking at retracement, we're going to need to hit, just based off the numbers, we're less than 2 cents away from pretty much a trend reversal. But we do know that when we hit the lower 20s, around 20, 21 cents, depending on how much momentum or FOMO this sets into the market, we saw that back when we got the Tesla merch announcement, we saw shorts really picked up and started betting against the coin. So that's something that we're going to keep an eye on for today, and I'll probably report back on it later tonight because we're going to need to keep an eye on that. But overall, for the market, we are on pace to do not necessarily a market reset or what I would consider a bull run, but I will say it is, we're looking right now we're on pace to do a trend reversal. So we can project that if we do have a full-on trend reversal like across the board, that the numbers and the time frames that we're going to, and the targets, we're probably going to have to adjust them in the short term. So just kind of be prepared for that. Again, charts are not 100%. They give an indicator to the future, but the media controls that. If the White House came out and said, we like Dogecoin today, we can chart all we want, but Dogecoin is going to go to heaven. So, right, you can't chart the media or news breaking and stuff like that. It's just something simply you can't account for on a chart. So this is why also when people ask, should we wait for 12 cents or some of those lower breakdowns, in the short term, you can't predict the price movement. But this is why I say give yourself an opportunity by not going all in and spreading it out over the course of the week. So that way, if you do have something over the course of the weeks or the months, so that way, if you do have an aggressive movement like this, you were able to capture some of those prices. Not saying that we're not going to consolidate more or this is just to the moon from here, but it just gives you an opportunity to capitalize off a lot of those, the price movements. Because my biggest concern here, we're going to have to track this through volume, is whether or not we're going to get a full-on trend reversal and literally go to the moon. So, and that's really just something we're going to have to account for, because we don't know how that's going to play out going forward. So, and not necessarily saying we're going to go to the moon, but it can trigger FOMO, if that's pretty much what I'm getting at. So the people that were saying, okay, we're going to wait until we're not going to invest any money because there's uncertainty, so we're just going to hold our money back for, until around March or something like that, this can reactivate those investors and scare them pretty much into making entries into the market, which will further push up these prices and cause us to break trend, at even higher levels. So just something to kind of keep in mind going forward. We're obviously going to have to track this over the coming days and possibly the coming weeks. But again, I do believe this was triggered by Bitcoin, and of course, rising tides raise all boats. So take a look here at some questions. Yes, I don't like knowing what wallet to get and then watch a YouTube video on how to open it and use it, because I don't know how much I would like to take all my Webull money off and on that wallet. I recommend getting a cold wallet. So I recommend getting like a Nano. As far as for your brokerage wallet, whichever one you're active on, that can provide you the quickest liquidity. But I do recommend having one that's off a brokerage site so that you can kind of keep them in your pocket just in case there's some hacks or some funny stuff going on with these brokerages, because there often is. So just give yourself the option, but I would recommend a Nano for sure. Let's see. Why do these crypto companies offer so many coins just to have to do a burn later? And does the crypto have to use their own money when they burn their coins? So when you said, so typically you're going to, when you have a new coin come out, the price of these coins are going to ultimately be the attractiveness to it. Because when you say Dogecoin, like a Dogecoin compared to like a Bitcoin, we're talking about two different clienteles here, right? So when you have, especially now that we've had this stigma going around that the cheaper the coin is, if you can get like a billion of them and there's a chance that it can get like 1,000,000% return, that's going to be more attractive to someone versus a coin coming out and it starts at $10 and you're not going to be able to have that massive coin count. So the theory is you produce a coin, you put like 5 zeros in front of it, you build a community around it, and then you generate the attention and the hype and the stigma around, we're going to do a burn, reduce the coin count, and this will push everybody up. So that seems to be the case going forward. So I think that is kind of like what we've seen being like rinsed and repeated so far. So I hope that helps. Super Bowl pump for BTC. There's a chance. Yeah, there's a chance. Yeah, again, media controls the narrative in the short term, so there's really a strong chance that this can perpetuate to like different media segments and just cause it to go the opposite direction. So, but again, we know there is that threat for liquidity in the market. So, for institutions and stuff like that to have this Fed hike and these rates coming on, this is like perfect for them because it'll give them opportunity to capitalize off of this spike if they're looking for further liquidity. So, this is for them. This is perfect. S&P 500 is still down. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Matter of fact, let me check this right now. And if that's the case, that'll be a great indicator that this is the media causing this push here. So yeah, and S&P is still in the red, of course. So yeah, and this is again, this is what I personally believe that this is because of the announcement of Tesla. So you have this FOMO kind of kicking in. So overall, we know that this isn't like a market trajectory or a complete market like reversal here. But I think that when we have the catalyst to generate that FOMO in the crypto market, we're going to get this type of price action. But it doesn't necessarily, it's not indicative on where the coin's ultimately going to go. So it does not mean that, and I mentioned this on my community section, the coin rising now does not mean it's going to consolidate lower in the future. Just like Bitcoin consolidating from 66,000 doesn't mean that it's not going to go over 6 figures, right? So, so I do think that this is mostly just media and hype for now until we get some confirmation later on to see if this is going to be sustainable. But again, crypto is crypto. These gains can disappear just as quickly as they came. So the question is, will we get FOMO into the market here and start getting these large volume spikes? So once we start getting those large volume spikes, we'll know that we kind of, that a lot of those buyers that were on the sidelines that were planning to invest, they got FOMO and they're kind of jumping in a little earlier just in case this is the indicator. But I'm telling all of you, my subscribers and possibly those of you that are watching that are unfamiliar with my channel, the major catalyst as far as for the Fed interest rate hikes has not changed. And until we get confirmation from that gray cloud of uncertainty is still going to be over the crypto market and still going to be over the stock market. So until we get some confirmation on how many rate hikes, how much of a rate hike, we're not going to have a concrete idea of the type of liquidity or rebalancing of portfolios that these institutions are going to do, because money is going to be a little harder to come by. So just keep that in mind when the short term, when everybody starts pumping out these, to the moon videos and stuff like that. Always look at both sides. Look at the you can have your hopium or whatever, but look at the positive and look at the other side as well, and do your conclusion on your investments. Let's see, does a company have to use their own money to do a burn, remove coins out of circulation? It depends, but for most of the time, they can simply just send their coins to like a dead wallet. And pretty much that can be an effective way to burn them, because pretty much if you remove them from circulation, then it's technically you could consider that a burn, right? So if you put, 10,000 Bitcoin on a computer and throw it in the ocean, that 10,000 Bitcoin is inaccessible, right? It's out of circulation. So you can consider that like a burn. So there's, I want to say there's like an inexpensive way to do that. Let's see. In your opinion, do you think Dogecoin will hit 50 cents this year? It's entirely possible. We have the catalyst to have Dogecoin rally this year. The question is what state of the market is going to be in, right? We have what I believe personally is one of the biggest catalysts is AMC, just for utility purposes and accessibility to everyone and a continuous new product, which is great. Of course, Doge One, international marketing, um, removing the meme stigma, adding credibility to the coin. These catalysts that we're pushing for as far as for utility and the food industries, like the McDonald's catalyst, and us working to take on some of these bigger institutions. We have the catalyst here to have an incredible rise this year. But the only thing of uncertainty is what's going to be the state of the market. Ultimately, again, I don't think that whatever happens this year is going to be indicative of where Dogecoin is going to go. But it's just that short term, there may be some catalyst here that's going to cause the market to be different this year compared to how it was the previous 2 years, starting with the Fed not injecting that $120 billion a month through mortgage-backed securities and bonds. So we're just kind of gotta keep an eye on that. But again, those of you that are here with me on the channel and stuff like that, we're going to be prepared for that so we can make money either way. Completely agree on the Fed rates. Thank you. I'm holding both Shiba and Doge. Which should I invest more in? You're the best, Dave. Thank you. That's a personal decision. Shiba's community is growing. I can say that, but I don't typically try and steer people away from one to the other. I leave that up to you. I'll just say make sure you're doing your research and keep an eye on the things that we use to grade, the systems that we use to grade a crypto in the long term, right? So we need vision, leadership, we need community, we need utility. And, so we have to make sure that there's going to be the stability here in the short term, but also an expansion of the coin. And that someone has a vision for the coin in the future. And ultimately, how is that coin going to be used? Because it's easy to draw a blank statement and say that, yeah, 5 years from now, instead of 2.3 trillion, the crypto market is going to be 10 trillion. Totally possible. But the question is, what we have to answer is, the crypto market is going to be a lot more competitive 10 years from now than what it is right now. So does your coin have the leadership, the utility, the community around it to remain competitive over the next decade? That's ultimately what's going to decide where you should be putting your money. So as long as you're doing that and you come up with some conclusive answers, you'll be fine. But as far as for personally recommending, I'll never tell anyone not to do something. That's up to you. I'll just report on what I do. What did Elon tweet? I'm not so much sure if he tweeted something. I know that what I was speaking on with Elon was the SEC filings that came out for Tesla, stating that Tesla owns nearly $2 billion in Bitcoin, right? So I think that can trigger, or has been triggering today at least, some FOMO into the crypto market, just saying that, okay, well, if Tesla is this aggressive with their holdings, maybe we don't need to wait to take these positions and try and wait on like the Feds and stuff like that. And what we can have is a trickle down effect of people, of this price action going up, and the people on the sidelines like, oh my God, it's going to be at 66,000 soon, or Dogecoin is going to be back in the 20 cents soon. We might as well just buy now. And then we have this little snowball effect that keeps pushing the price up until the momentum and stuff fizzles out. Because again, the trajectory of the market hasn't changed. So the question is, how much momentum are we going to get from this? And is this going to ultimately lead to FOMO? And of course, the chart cannot answer those questions. So it's just something we're kind of going to have to wait and see. See, where do you see SHIB going? You see SHIB doing going forward after this recent pump? So I haven't changed on mine or anything. Like SHIB is doing, as far as for preventing a full retracement, it's done great at holding up at that support line. So SHIB is just working on the utility, which is what it should do for longevity. But as far as for right now, this is the market pumping. So if SHIB has those investors on the sidelines, like most of the top 10, 15 cryptos do, they're going to be thinking the same thing that the Dogecoin holders are going to be, or that the Bitcoin holders are going to be. Is if this is rising now, I need to go ahead and throw my money into it. So that's that snowball effect that's going to be overall, but it's not indicative to say that um, where the coin is going to go. This is short-term media. Same thing for Doge and BTC. So we're going to just have to see ultimately, as far as for long term, we're going to have to see that expansion in utility across the board for Shiba and for Doge, right? So as long as we're working on those catalysts, that's giving us the foundation that we need to go forward. Okay. Let's see. Keep at it, man. Let's get those gains, people. Thank you, Jordan. I appreciate you. Yeah, and if you're new to the channel, yeah, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I do this every day. No hopium, only facts and charts. No highs, no lows, only Doge. That's the way. So the Dogecoin, I hope, gets to 150 this year, and Shiba Inu at least a half a penny. Let's go. Yeah, the catalysts out there, we really just, as far as for the longevity of the market this year, is going to be determined in March, right? So around March 16th, toward the end of Q1, we're going to have a concrete idea on the trajectory of the market. So again, it's not that I thought that because we're threatening. The only reason that you've seen the catalyst as far as like a bear market or threatening to go into a bear market has been, the concrete evidence has been because of the Fed, right? But the reason the volume has slowed down so much in crypto is because people are saying that, which is technically smart. If you have this unknown catalyst and this potential to have a further pullback, people are holding their money and saying that I can get a better entry, right? Which is smart. You can dollar cost average in weekly, but you're giving yourself the opportunity, you're saving that money to give yourself the opportunity to catch some of those better prices. But when you have stuff that happens like today, when you have, let's take a look at Bitcoin, who is literally, I gotta go to crypto first, who's literally threatening a full retracement here. No, excuse me, not full retracement, literally threatening a trend reversal. It can generate FOMO in the market. So when we, have that, it's hard to say where we're going to end up. It's hard to say because we don't know how much money has been waiting on the sideline, right? So we could potentially have hundreds of millions, billions of dollars on the sideline of people that were fully intending to invest, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's running! Go now, throw it in now, and we can get another $5,000-$10,000 in Bitcoin. We can get another 5 cents, 10 cents in Dogecoin. Like it just Doge has historically, the 200-day moving average is just starting to consolidate down below. The 200-day moving average for Dogecoin for the longest was around 25 cents. We just got that breakdown to 16 cents over the last few months. So technically speaking, as far as where Dogecoin has held up for most of the year, it's nothing for Dogecoin to get that 10-cent appreciation and start holding the line again at around 24, 25 cents. That's going to cause panic and say, oh my God, we need to put this money in now so we can get these prices. So again, that's something that's just something you have to know, and you're not going to be able to chart it, but you don't know how this is going to play out in the short term. It's kind of hard to say where FOMO is going to take the market. There's a lot of time for FOMO to increase or decrease between now and March. A lot can happen in a month in the crypto market. That is an absolute fact. That is an absolute fact. Absolute fact. I invested in Stellar XLM, bought at 20 cents, making nice move. What's your thoughts on XLM, David? I have to take a peek at that. Because I don't want to make this long live in particular too long, but I'll put that on my list tonight. So I'm not sure if you follow my channel or not, but I'll look it up tonight. I'll do some TA on whatever you guys want me to do tonight when I go live. So I'll put that on my list for tonight. So XLM, I'll look at that right after Doge and Bitcoin's price movement for today. Are you optimistic of what's happening or very cautious of what's happening? I'm optimistic on the crypto as a whole, especially long term. What's happening right now, I'm cautious. I'm not sure what time you got on the live, but the segments that have caused the panic or the uncertainty in the markets have not gone away. So, again, what we're potentially looking at here is FOMO. So I can't, I don't buy on bull runs, right? I typically don't get sucked into FOMO and stuff like that. If you will look at one of my more popular videos, it was the one where I broke down the flow of the wealth, and I pretty much did a graph showing how the money flows in and out of the market and to who. I'm aware of that at all times. So when we have FOMO or a tweet or a SEC document that comes out and people start rushing in and stuff like that, that's not sustainable energy, right? So sustainable energy is utility coming in there, the supplies, supply going down. These are things that can cause like appreciation, but people who are either trading the coin, because we have to figure out, okay, who's trading the coins, who's going to short the coins in the air. The short-term pumpers are going to be in. So we have to kind of weigh all that in, and we say, okay, well, long-term, can this price action sustain itself, or will it consolidate again and resume to where it is because of the major catalyst? And I don't make those types of gambles because there's no reason to. I'm bullish on just about every coin that I cover on here long term. But when it comes down to entries and stuff like that, I'm ultimately, when I have I started buying Bitcoin at around like $7,000, $8,000, right? Dogecoin at around like 2 cents. AMC, I started buying at like $5, like all those popular ones. Plug Power like $3. So I have great entries on a lot of my long-term positions. So when I start to look at whether I'm cautious or optimistic, I'm looking for the crack in the fabric to time my entries so that I can be in a place of appreciation despite where I'm getting into or what my DCA is going to be. So I don't technically look at catalysts or the news or Twitter to decide if I'm going to make an entry or not. I'm looking at price points. That's what decides. So this is great for the market overall because, again, this can push us further up, but you have to look at the reason why this is pushing us further up. And I believe it's FOMO. So, and FOMO, as we all know, if you've been in crypto, even for 6 months, you know that FOMO is not sustainable. So just be careful. I don't believe that if you buy Bitcoin at this price or even at 66,000, and if you have the capability of holding for 5 years, I don't believe you're going to lose money. I just don't. But the question is, despite what price you get in, you have to factor how long can you hold. Factor that in, right? So I'm optimistic as a whole, but as far as for this price movement, I'm very cautious just because of the reasons why. Let's see. What is your opinion what AMC and Tesla do with the Doge spent on their products and services and how it will affect the price? I think that I think Tesla will hold its Doge. I think AMC will hold it to an extent, but I don't. The benefit of these institutions holding these positions or even accepting Doge in general is to pretty much we can pump up their wallets to the point where to the point where it will de-incentivize them to dump all their coins, at least all back at once onto the market. So this can effectively, once we have enough utility, this can pretty much give us some price stability and also appreciation in the coin. Because for the same reason that Elon wouldn't sell all of his Tesla shares or start dumping them, or Jeff Bezos wouldn't start dumping his Amazon shares, the more of them that's on the market, the less that it's worth. So when you start seeing these 200 billion net worths and stuff like that, if they were to try to liquidate that, they would never get anything close to that because the price would start falling. So with the AMC and with the Tesla, especially if they're continuously accepting these coins, when they want to convert to cash or to another crypto or whatever the case may be, they're going to have to drip them very slowly into the market. So what we're going to have is a very high speed at which they are going into these companies, and they're going to come out much slower. So this is going to put a strain on the available supply or the float that's available to purchase on the market. Thus, it can give us appreciation. So that's my thoughts on these institutions, which is great because the more utility we have, the more places the coins are going to have to flow off of the market. And eventually we'll start, these coins will be being spent faster than they're being mined. Once we have the proper utility and stuff on there, and then at that point, that's when we're going to get some serious appreciation, which is why coin count and stuff like that, especially at these prices, are so crucial. Are you cautiously optimistic with this? Long term, I am. Where we are right now, it's again, I look at it. I look at it with a side eye from where we are now. DCA is the way. That's a fact. Could it be people are burned down on AMC switching over to Doge? That's a possibility, but I think that with AMC, especially if you look at the numbers, you're getting close to the price action that we want. So I do know that a lot of people sold Doge to go to AMC. So I do think that after AMC situation resolves itself, I do think that we're going to have a lot of people reinvest in Dogecoin just so they can have exposure. So I think that that will help the Doge community as a whole going forward. Let's see, I did a FOMO margin buy-in, but I have stop losses. I'll move up as the market moves up and then set up some limit buys set for margin liquidations. Hey, that's smart. Hey, man, hedge yourself. Hedge yourself. Hit the like button, guys. Yes, thank you. Yeah, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you have not, if you want to hear more from me. Great info as always. I appreciate you. Thank you. Rumors, Doge on Super Bowl. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, again, that's media controls price action in the short term. The media can, I'm telling you right now, like the media can come out and be like, hey, that we heard from an unverified source, the Federal Reserve, the Dogecoin is going to be the national currency now, right? It's going to go to the moon. Like no confirmation or anything, just based off of the article. The charts, everything else are going to be completely useless, and the media will literally control the price of that asset in the short term. So the media is very powerful. So you have to kind of keep in the mind of that. Fundamentals, facts, appreciation, revenue, all those concrete things, they determine price over the long haul. Short term, it's media hype, momentum. That's what controls it. Let's see. If you are selling AMC for Doge pumping, then you are going to lose a lot of money. You got to buy on weaknesses. Yeah. I hold both. So but I agree. If you're trying to time the market and jumping in between, you're pretty much going to, unless you're just extremely lucky, you're pretty much going to end up taking an L. So do you think there's going to be a pump and dump with Dogecoin now? So the reasons as far as for the market's going up, if it's not for a sustainable reason, or if it's not just, institutions and the community as a whole being bullish, then when we look at FOMO or the media pumping coins, or if that's Twitter or the news or anything like that, it's not sustainable, right? So this is why I always tell my subscribers just to we have to look at both sides of this so that we can be strategic with our entries. But the question is, we don't know to what degree FOMO can push these up, but we're not going to have a concrete idea of what the market is going to look like until March. So, and like the other guy said there in the comment earlier, crypto is, March 16th, the end of Q1. A lot can happen between then. We can have some wild swings between now and then. Doesn't change the trajectory of the coins, but between now and then, we can have some wild movements. So you got to keep that in mind. Let's see. Tesla has already sold some BTC to demonstrate how BTC can work on a balance sheet. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. I just read about the SEC filings and I saw the articles and stuff coming out today. Let's see. Dogecoin is a lot in the media, even here in the Netherlands. Should be great for the price. Yeah. Yeah. Media. And that's one of the things that I was saying about the Doge 1 mission. The media can cause a lot of FOMO into a coin. So, or stock, right? So, the media, especially around, history being made and the amount of coverage and stuff, depending on how much coverage and all that kind of stuff it's going to get, you can expect price action, probably even greater than what we've seen with the Tesla merch announcement. So, just kind of be prepared for that. And, especially if you know when it's coming up, make sure that you're in the forefront of that versus being a part of the hype that's running into it. So you just kind of got to be, just keep in mind that short-term media, FOMO, all that kind of stuff like that, typically that growth isn't sustainable, but we're going to chart these and keep an eye on volume to kind of get an idea of where these are going to be, especially if they in fact break trend. So I don't want to make this video too long. I'll touch base with you guys later tonight. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not, share it with a friend. I will speak with all of you guys later tonight. We'll do some charting, some TA, and go over today's events. So thank you guys, and I'll talk to you later.